Good day to you, Willard Shepard Law and Media, and on the Miami Community News Network, In the Know. And we're honored today to have two of the leaders of our legal community in Broward County, Florida with us. My friend, both of them my friends, Yineth Sanchez Aslan, who is the past president of the Broward Hispanic Bar Association, and we also have the president-elect with us today, Mario Lopez, and thank you so much for being with us. We're coming to you on site from the Florida Bar Convention in Orlando, and this is always a great learning experience for us. But also it is a time for those of you in our leadership positions to make sure that the platforms are in place to ultimately serve our communities. So, ladies first, as always. So, Yineth, tell me about your year and the things that you feel that you've accomplished to be able to hand off this year. And really, at the end of the day, this is all about being able to serve the residents in South Florida and across our state.
Well, first and foremost, so Willard, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to be here and to be here with your audience. It is an enormous honor for us to be able to not only serve, but to be able to educate our community of the current and available resources that they have. And to answer your specific questions, it has been an incredible year and a year of partnerships. And a big aspect of the work that we do is really to provide legal access and legal connections to the community through the events that we host. A number of them are community events where we bring groups that already have resources, and groups like Hispanic Unity of Florida, for example, and Las Americas Community Center were two nonprofit organizations that we partnered with during this entire year and participated in a number of community events. Again, these are wonderful organizations that provide free resources to the community, not just the Hispanic community. A lot of times they help underprivileged communities as well. So it has been a year of partnerships, I've got to say. And of course, today I'm joined with Mario, who was an instrument and a key aspect of the success we're able to have, was really his partnership and his vision in all of those events.
To that point, and you talked about serving the community, at the end of the day, while we may be gathering legal information to help us in our personal injury practices and the other things that we do and your work, tell me about making sure that the community, especially communities of diverse backgrounds, and that may not even speak English here, have come to our country, that they feel comfortable coming forward, looking for legal assistance, even in circumstances where they may feel like they may not be able to afford it. We certainly want them to still seek the legal help that can be provided.
Thank you, Willard, for the opportunity to be able to give this information to our community, and not just in Broward, but throughout the state. And we're continuing the legacy of our immediate past president, Aslan, when, we are making sure that not just continuing the partnerships that she has built, but partnering with, the different associations. We're gonna, this year, we have a nice agenda building on what has been built by Jeanette. To be able to give back to the community by giving them access to us as attorneys, as lawyers, that they can see us not just as, when we're wearing the suit and sometimes the community thinks you're inapproachable. You know what? We dress the part. We are able to say and speak the language. As Broward County has become more and more diverse, they get access to us. We have partnered up with a lot of bar associations, whether it's the, Caribbean Bar Association, the Jamaican Bar Association, Haitian Bar Association, even the Broward County Bar Association brings us all together to make sure that we are accessing everyone in the community in Broward and beyond Broward.
Tell me about the kinds of disciplines that cut across the board in terms of when people do need legal help, that I imagine there's virtually no area where we don't have someone that can step in and assist.
We do, and the beauty about our organization, it's really that it's the makeup of it, or the flag, if you will, that we wear is Hispanics, right? But we have all sorts of legal areas that we have our members that are part of, from family law to immigration to complex litigation to international law. They're there, and it really is about, I think, in addition to the work that we do, that it's legal in nature, we have that cultural component that brings us together, and something that we want to take an opportunity today to let the community know that we want to also encourage other people to do this kind of work. It's not simply offering connections and resources and legal access, but also the idea that your children can become just like the lawyers that we're talking about or the judges that we're talking about. We understand the value of first generation empowerment. That's what at the end of the day we want to do, not only provide resources and legal empowerment, but also that encouragement, that the scholarships that we offer to students. And that's something else where we want to make sure the community knows that supporting a nonprofit, we are a nonprofit, and the work that we do is really bigger than just the legal community. It stems with what we know. We're lawyers, judges, law students, but it transcends that, and it really becomes much more about the empowerment of an entire community and the collaboration between cross cultures, as Mario pointed out. So as a result of that, we really have a gamut of legal areas that we can help with, right? So all I've got to say is that if you have an issue or a legal concern, we've got it. We got somebody, that will be able to assist that way. So just reach out to us, and we certainly do the best to connect you.
Mario, tell me about, and I learned so much when I was with both of you and the entire group at your gala not long ago, about each of you, and we all have a personal journey that motivates us, that brings us to where we are today, and to be able to take the opportunities and the platforms that we've been blessed with to do that, to try to aid others. So walk me through your parents' journey, your journey, and this responsibility that I presume you carry with you now.
And thank you for the question. One of the things that you noticed at our gala is that when we heard the stories from different presenters, it is my story as well. It is one of those things that, I came from Nicaragua when I was the age of 8. You come from your country and you come to this great country of opportunity. And the next thing you know, you're building yourself up, from being able to take the lessons that you're taught at home, at school, and being able to say, you know what, you can, by putting in the hard work, by paying your dues, by being able to say, listen, you know what, it is tough. I think all of us know that it is a tough journey, especially, whether you are, an immigrant like myself, or you are born here, But the beauty of what we're able to do with Access is now we are able to pull everybody forward. For me, I came from Nicaragua in 1978, went to school, learned English in 6 months, which was, phenomenal for me.
I wish you would help me with my Spanish in 6 months. I've been at it 20 años, and my Spanish is still not where I want it to be.
And then, I went, I knew I was going to stay local in South Florida because of the weather, but at the end of the day, I was able to, as I moved forward from undergraduate to my law school, and to my career, one of the biggest things was my mentors that were able to be like me. And my mentors came from different areas, not just minorities,
Tell me about, and we don't live in a vacuum, obviously in the environment which we are in this year, people that speak Spanish, people that come from where you came from in Latin America and other places, in many cases are being highlighted in our community. And what message do you have to them to be able to make sure that they know the types of resources that the organization can provide are there for them, and they should not live in the shadows, that they can come forward to be able to provide the kinds of representation that are fair for them and that they do receive due process?
The biggest is access, is you have access. Come out, come talk to us, emails, phone calls. We are accessible. And that's one of those, the biggest things that before, it's not just words, because we all say, you have access. One of the biggest things is to have them come, and we reach out. We put out a lot of information with our programs to make sure that, just at the end of the month, we're having a program right there in Plantation where we're going to educate with the Caribbean bar, the Hispanic bar is going to educate about landlord tenants. Even though most of us may not be exactly doing landlord tenant, but you know what? We know the basics of being able to talk to a lawyer. Because I'm going to tell you, in my own practice, the biggest things that I give is information and a friendly smile and a friendly face, because a lot of times that's the problem. we are afraid. It's fear, even though you're like, oh, no, you know what? We're common people. Just come and talk to us. We will make ourselves accessible with Hispanic unity, with programs of the community that they can come out. Whether you're an immigrant in modern times, it's a difficult time right now. Whether the economics are, just knowing, just giving information.
Yes, I imagine that's something you're very concerned about, deeply concerned about with the rhetoric, the things that we are hearing here in 2024.
Yes, and I think to just comment briefly on your prior question, just to share with the audience as well, my background was similar to Mario's background. I was born in Colombia, and I immigrated to the United States when I was 12 years old. And that migration, I was born in a very small pueblito, so I come work at cows, farms. I mean, that was our life. That's what we knew. Both of my grandparents were.
What part of the country? Because my military duty took me to Colombia.
It's a small pueblito named Tres Cruces. If there's anybody out there from Tres Cruces, please contact me. But from Tres Cruces is in the middle of really, sometimes jokingly I say the jungle because it's really deep into the country in Cartagena, so you have to go deeper. But it's a beautiful place, and both of my grandparents, they did not know how to read. They were illiterate. They used to sign with an X. I mean, this is the hard work was there, the opportunities were not, and due to extreme violence in the country, we had to flee the country and immigrate to the United States. I share that with you because our struggles are similar in some of the barriers that we encounter, was of course the language barrier, but emphasizing the importance of pursuing an education, something that the United States allows you to have. My grandparents would have wished to have the opportunities to even receive an education, and this country allows you to do that. So part of our core mission is really to encourage that, and not just first generation. I mean, it's a time for us to rise beyond the initial opportunities we were given, right? So this my really encouragement and challenge is really to the upcoming generation. My mother didn't know how to speak English, and I didn't either. It took me longer than 6 months. Maria did a fantastic job, but it took me longer than that. And growing up, I remember having to translate for my parents. I was the one looking into the legal documents for them, advising them what to do. And you grow up too early when you're a child, and you have to do that kind of labor and on your shoulders have that kind of burden, if you will, right? So part of the work that we do is really understanding the next generation and the impact that has on children. One of our core initiatives where you were part of was the bilingual conference, which we host in partnership with the Broward County Public Schools. And all of this brings it back to education, right? It's not just about the access to it, but truly being present in the education of the next generation of Hispanics and professionals, which we hope, right? So to answer two specific questions, yes, of course, the current climate concerns us all, it really does, but we focus and we choose to focus on being proactive about the issues that are there. How are we proactive? We spread education, we create programs like the housing clinic that we're partnering with. Those are solution-based, right? So that's our priority, is really to acknowledge, the things that are happening, but really to be proactive, a social contributor, if you will.
Tell me, and we want to talk a little bit about technology, because you've been on this journey some with me as well. And thanks to Prevail, we're able to have our studio set up here. So that type of technology, how do you see that helping across the board all legal communities? I think it opens the doors because many of my genetics and many of your genetics many times afraid to become part of the legal system, to go to the courthouse. Now they can use a phone, do it remotely, and I think that's been a gigantic leap forward in opening doors in our legal process to people of all genetics. What about that?
Well, I've got to say, as far as an organization and as a company, I think Prevail, the fact that you approached us because you wanted to be inclusive of our community, and we love that about you because you understood the need for our communities to rise to that new technological age. It really is, so you helped us level the playing field by including us in this conversation to begin with, and you did it with other communities, and I think part of it is being invited to the table. And then be given the resources to produce quality work. And part of the work that Prevail does, which we have partnered for over a year now, is really being able to provide quality work and access. Whether you're a legal professional or somebody who partakes in that, you're the deponent in this case, right? You have so much more access to not only the technology, but to the professionals themselves and what they're doing. I mean, this is beyond just, the basics of being on a Zoom and you have features. It's really about the immersive component of what you're doing, and that's where I think Prevail, sets it apart, is that it really brings you in, and it's as close as being in the courtroom as you possibly can, with the convenience of being at home in your car and not being intrusive of your daily schedule, but allowing you to participate actively in the legal system in a way that it matches the times with the technology.
Yeah. I just think it overcomes also the fear factor for many people in certain communities that are hesitant and have been hesitant to participate. And the numbers show, whether it's jury participation, response to summonses, all those types of things, this technology has been able to really help coming out of the pandemic. I don't think there's ever anything good about a pandemic, but this technology has been able to help. In closing, first of all, solamente habla español, por favor, for the community to know who you are, a phone number, a website address, and that they can reach out.
Mi nombre es Mario López, yo soy de Nicaragua y estoy aquí para servir a la comunidad hispana, no solo en Broward, en Miami-Dade y en el estado. Me pueden contactar al 305-785-5166 o la oficina al 954-318-0186 y me pueden mandar un email a mlopez@mellegal.com y estoy disponible cuando me quieran contactar.
Perfecto. And Madam Past President, for those only hablan inglés, talk about reaching out to you and where people should do that if they need help.
Absolutely. So the thing to remember, folks, the Broward County Hispanic Bar Association. If you look us up in our social media, that's really the closest thing you can get to us, to the work that we do. Educate yourself about how and where we can serve you and assist you. And if you want to just email us, you can do that also at bchba@outlook.com. Thank you once again for the opportunity to be here and to join you wonderful folks.
Yes, Madam Past President and Mr. President-elect, thank you very much for being with us. Mucho gracias, mucho gusto for always being with us. And for those of you at home, gracias for being on In the Know. And we'll see you from the Florida Bar Convention ahora mismo.